I'd like to begin this transmission by reading you a journal entry. July 10th, 2024, Bali, Indonesia. All my belongings are held within a backpack, duffel bag, and guitar case. I carry their entire cumulative weight. With a MIDI keyboard, a watercolor set, and several books on my shoulders, I know I'm far from minimalism. Nonetheless, I'm grateful to viscerally feel the weight of my chattels each time I move to a new place. The necessity amplifies my existential tug-of-war between possession and mobility. Dubbed a Vata dosha by Ayurveda and an air sign Aquarius by astrology, I benefit from such grounding. Who knows where I'd float off to if I hadn't these bags to anchor me. That freedom surely does sound romantic and exciting. Truthfully, there are hardly any items inside my bag so priceless or irreplaceable that I'd lament their loss. Yet, I know I'm stabler under the safety of their weighted blanket. I was thinking about that yesterday when I was going from London to Edinburgh, where I'm about to teach a yoga class tomorrow. Peace and love, y'all. Welcome back to another moment of stillness. This is no place like Om, my 20-city yoga tour all across Europe. After spending the last year solo traveling all across Asia, studying yoga under wise masters, I've returned to the Western world to give free yoga classes to the people who need it most. Since the last time we spoke, I had my first yoga class in London. In that last transmission, I was a little bit nervous for the class. You know, I was feeling real shaky under the full moon. But now, a few days later, the full moon is waning, the first class of this tour is under my belt, and wow, I gotta tell you how amazing it was. Oh my god. It just reminded me exactly why I've gone on this tour in the first place. For the people. You know, over the last 15 months or so, I started posting yoga videos online, and here we are, a little more than a year later. We've built a community of over 500,000 yogis. And that's crazy. That number feels very parasocial because it's not something that my brain can conceive of. Especially not when this number's on the screen. That being said, my main inspiration for this tour was to come and meet this community all across Europe. And wow, the words of affirmation and praise that I received from the people who came to my London class, oh my god. All the motivation I needed to keep going. If you remember from the last transmission, the Capricorn new moon had me really lamenting doing hard tasks. But that was all the encouragement I needed. What a gift to tangibly see how the karma yoga that I'm doing, by sharing this information online, is changing lives. If my yoga tips have impacted you in any way, number one, I would love for you to tell me. I love hearing this stuff, and it motivates me to continue. But number two, I encourage you to share the knowledge with someone in your life who might appreciate it. This is how we build a brighter future. This is how we embody the change we want to see in the world. What a privilege it is to have used the internet as a tool to create community across the globe. When I was staying at Sadhguru's ashram in February in Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu, South India, I was on a content creators retreat with a lot of people who have 100K plus on the gram. And Sadhguru said something to us. He said, you know, when Jesus spoke, maybe 20 people heard him. When Buddha spoke, maybe 50 people heard him. Now we live in a day and age where you could have nothing to say and be heard by millions. So it's a huge responsibility. And it's one that I plan to continue using for good. This tour is the first time I'm able to take a step back and realize who has been on the other side of these screens. And guess what? You're beautiful. If we haven't met yet, I can't wait to meet you soon. It's my deepest honor and privilege to exchange energy with you in this way. Thank you to everyone who came to my London class, and thank you in advance to everyone who's going to come to future classes across this tour and across other continents in the future. So let me tell you about some funny things that have been happening to me recently, because I'd love to use this journal as a way to document travel stories and lessons that I learned. I went to this insane pop-up jam session in a park in London the other night. I'll put a clip here. My friend Clara brought me there, and oh my god, the outfits in this place, the talent in this place, the spontaneous communal energy in this place, wow. It made me realize how much of an incredible cultural hub London is. It warmed my heart to see so many members of the London creative youth scene come together for a free show in the park, literally bringing their own instrument to harmonize on the frequency of music. There's no drug as powerful as that. The oxytocin that rose up in my body as I was at this show made me itch to organize events like that. In case you didn't know, I've been a musician for years and years and years before I was a yogi. In fact, for 7 years, I was in a band that toured all over the world. And concerts felt like prayer. They felt like spiritual gatherings. Music does that. It unites and it intensifies when it's shared. Please reach out to me and let me know what is one musical experience you've had that just made you feel closer to humanity as a whole. Maybe a middle school play you were in. Maybe a busker at the metro station. Or maybe a huge concert that made you realize you have common interests with a lot of people. For me, it was that London concert. Oh my god, it was so good. I gotta show you another clip. These musicians were cooking up. under the full moon no less. And by the way, it was 10 p.m. and it was not even dark. Shout out the northern latitude of the United Kingdom. Never fails to bring a smile to my face in these summer months. Another really meaningful experience I had in London was a surprise. My longtime friend Kayla came to my yoga class. She came into my life at a really meaningful time. We're both from New York, and around 2 years ago, we were both going through breakups. I was leaving my band and she was leaving a romantic partner. And we started going to yoga together at Fierce Grace, one of my favorite studios. We were able to grieve in parallel and help each other process our emotions, be soft in front of one another. And that permission to feel, to be vulnerable, opened me up and made my recovery process so much more cathartic. I'm sure she would agree. She happens to be in London for work, and the day after the class, we spent an entire afternoon together, frolicking up and down Regent's Canal in East London, right around the Dalston area. We went to a Nepali restaurant where I was able to tell her all my stories from Nepal. And then we went and grabbed some ice cream by the canal where we laughed about New York memories. Kayla has this amazing ability to point out spider webs that I miss. She must have hawk vision or something because she can spot them many, many feet away. Every time she saw one, me, Kayla, and my friend Son would go up to the spider web, look at it super closely, and just admire the architecture, the handiwork. How powerful, how menacing, how dominant the spider is. It was just a reminder that nature is perfect. Nature never makes mistakes. And I believe my life is just as perfect as a spider web. Every time I might struggle, every time I might have to confront my shadow, I have to remember that it's all for a reason. It's all part of a divine plan. And the geometry of my life is just as intentional as the geometry of a spider web. That shape and texture has been decided by a consciousness far above this physical body. I'm not here to try to understand it, I'm just here to enjoy it. That's been the theme of this tour. Although I am working technically, teaching yoga, making these transmissions, making videos for various social media platforms, I really want to enjoy this. You know, the whole concept of having a work-life balance really only applies if there's a separation between your work and your life. My work feeds me, my work gives me purpose, and so I allow myself to enjoy it. I want yoga to bleed into all facets of my life. My aim is for there to be a unity in how I spend my time. So even as I'm recording this, even as I'm teaching my yoga class, it's all play. That whimsy is something I was struggling with under the full moon, but it's just now coming back to me. And I foster that spirit of play by taking artist dates and romanticizing every little moment of travel. For example, I was riding a double-decker bus in London, on the top floor, in the front seat, looking out the windshield, like I was watching my favorite movie. Oh my god, it was incredible. Being in a foreign country just enables me to see the beauty in the most minute details. And now I'm inspired to see those little details even when I come back home. Notice all the things I skim over. When I was home for 2 months before embarking on this tour, after coming back from a year in Asia, I had this ritual where I would go outside and walk around my block every morning. Before I check my phone, before I sip water, just to gain a new appreciation and a new understanding of the block that's most familiar to me in the world. There's always something new to observe. About your breath, about your body, about your surroundings. That's what riding the bus reminded me. I felt like a little scientist in my lab coat, watching a controlled trial through the windshield glass. Except the anthropological experiment was humanity itself. Maybe it was because I was on the double-decker bus, but I felt like I got a bird's eye view on what it really means to be human, what it really means to live in society, in community. Another incredibly exciting thing was that yesterday, I took the train from London to Scotland in first class thanks to Eurail. I guess you call it Eurail if you're a foreigner. You call it Interrail if you're from the EU or the UK. What I'm talking about is the company that unites all the rail systems across this beautiful continent. They've actually partnered with me on this No Place Like Om yoga tour. They've given me an unlimited rail pass, so I can go to all these cities just by train. And I prefer slow travel. If I had the time to walk everywhere, I probably would. Because when you can actually notice the land you're traipsing and see it pass by, rather than just blinking and going hundreds of miles, it creates this sense of presence, this reverence for the scale of the globe. It also allows me to look out at pastoral landscapes I never could have dreamed of experiencing. Like the beautiful highlands of London with their dramatic coastlines and rolling fields. I'm so thankful that Eurail is helping me out. The fact that actual brands who make money in the marketplace align with my values of sharing free yoga resources is pretty good external validation. And again, external validation is not something that we should need every day in order to function. We should get that from ourselves, but it does feel really nice. And I definitely relish in it. So thank you, Eurail. You've validated my mission and you've made my journey so much more efficient and convenient and enjoyable. Something happened on the train. I started drawing little Sharpie doodles, and if you know me, you know I'm a visual artist. I love oil pastels, I love watercolors, I love acrylic paint. But my first love is Sharpie. I do a lot of self-portraits, and I did something new this time. I scanned the self-portraits. I colored them digitally, and I turned them into stickers that I could use on my social media. After so long of thinking about how I can incorporate my different practices, my music and my visual art into my social media storytelling and yoga education, I realized that I can create this whole digital mixed media universe of characters that populate my images and videos that I post on here. If you're watching the video version of this transmission, they're probably decorated throughout too. You can probably relate to this feeling of an artistic breakthrough, where something just clicks. Julia Cameron from The Artist's Way calls it marching orders. The universe is sending me a signal that this this is what I must do. I have a path forward. This combination of music and art and words is how I can bring the totality of my creative identity to my community. That being said, thank you for seeing me as I am, and thank you for giving me space to share my little doodles, to share my little songs, to tell you my silly travel stories. On that note of interdisciplinary integration, enjoy this short clip of me playing handpan on the train to Edinburgh. After I put the handpan away, I put on my headphones and I listened to The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. It inspired me to keep doing my morning pages, which honestly I kind of fell off of for a little bit. If you're not hip, you should definitely read the book. The whole concept of morning pages is basically just taking out a notebook and writing 3 uninterrupted pages of nonsense, of whatever you want, of your inner dialogue, first thing in the morning every day. It's like a bowel movement for your brain. It clears the clutter. She calls it a brain drain. I did it this morning and wow, it felt amazing. It made me realize that I need to take a break from work today. It made me realize that I just need to explore this city today. Let my inner child lead the way and follow my intuition. That feeling led me into a charity shop because I saw a guitar in the window. Honestly, I just thought it was a really beautiful guitar. I went inside and I asked the shopkeeper, this lovely senior citizen named Ruth, if I could play the guitar. And she said, well, yes, you can, but just know, we have a policy in this store. If you want to play the instrument, you got to play for at least an hour. You got to entertain the guests. Now, of course, she was being cheeky. That's not actual policy, but I jumped at the chance because she made me feel so comfortable, so welcome in her space. So I plopped down in one of her consignment armchairs and I started playing this beautiful classical style guitar for literally an hour. I felt like I was in my living room. I had my headphones in, listening to podcasts. I was listening to Ismatu Gwendolyn, who has a podcast called Threadings that's amazing, if you haven't listened to it, and playing the guitar for the people in the shop. Playing a little bossa nova, a little folk, experimenting with different tunings. I'll put in a clip of that here. It felt so good to relax in that way, and to be heard by the people in the shop, to be appreciated for the music that I would happily just keep for myself. Overall, I found the people of Edinburgh to be so lovely, so kind, so patient, so gregarious. I could go on and on with the superlatives. I love this city so much. I love Scotland. The nature is beautiful. It's almost 7:30 p.m. and the sun is shining. I'm here on Calton Hill where I can see the whole city. I can even see the English Channel. All these old Gothic sculptures, buildings from the Middle Ages. Still going strong. Being in the old world, the ghosts are everywhere and they are so friendly. And they are so eager to tell us their stories. I'm just here to listen. Thank you for listening to me. I'm not a ghost yet, but thank you for inviting my spirit into your heart. I love you so much. You are divine. You are complete. You are whole. You are a creative being. You are beautiful. And you are exactly where you're meant to be. Please take a deep breath with me. Inhale deeply through the nose, expanding the belly, expanding the chest, expanding the collarbones. And now exhale with the sigh through your mouth, letting it all go, softening, unclenching your muscles. I'll leave you today with this mantra. I allow myself to experience playfulness. I allow myself to experience whimsy. I allow myself to experience joy. I allow my inner child to guide me. This has been No Place Like Home, Edinburgh edition. I'll catch y'all next time. Peace and love.